Compare and contrast the woman of Willendorf and the human figure from Ain Ghazal. When comparing the Paleolithic woman of Willendorf and the Neolithic human figure from Ain Ghazal, the most obvious difference is the size. The woman of Willendorf is about the size of a pocket calculator, whereas the human figure from Ain Ghazal is about the size of a young child. While the woman of Willendorf dates back to 28,000 to 25,000 BC, the figure of Ain Ghazal seems to be from sometime around 6700 to 5200 BC. Separated by thousands of years, it is quite amazing to compare the two figures. When examining the specific parts of each sculpture, there are quite a few similarities. Let's take a look at the arms. The Paleolithic statue and the Neolithic statue both exhibit disproportionately small arms. As well, both sculptures have stump legs with no indication of feet. Additionally, they both express large hips, which may lead us to believe that they are both women. However, art historians are at odds with each other over the gender of the Neolithic sculpture. As we take a closer look at some of the other aspects of the two sculptures, we notice several differences. These include the extended neck of the Neolithic piece versus a lack of neck in the Paleolithic woman of Willendorf. Furthermore, the woman's large breasts are in stark contrast with the figure's flat chest. It is also interesting to note that while the woman's face is completely concealed by what appears to be a headdress of some sort, the only part of the figure that is missing is the mouth. These facial differences may be attributed to the different functions and importance of each sculpture. The material differences within the figures are representative of the major changes that occurred between the Paleolithic and Neolithic periods. Most specifically, the discovery of new materials and methods of using them are relevant in terms of discussing these figures. The woman was carved from limestone and the figure was created from plaster and inlaid with bitumen, a tar-like substance, to add specific features such as the eyes. While the woman was probably much more difficult to shape, especially due to the details of her body, the figure showcases the innovations and discoveries of later generations, as well as a sophisticated technique that evolved with time. Discuss the social and economic changes that took place between the Paleolithic and Neolithic periods. In order to fully understand the differences between the art of Paleolithic and Neolithic periods, it helps to understand the differences between the time periods on a socio-economic level. In history, the Paleolithic or Stone Age period is widely regarded as a time when humans were hunter-gatherers. Tribes of people moved from place to follow the food supply. Their diets consisted of mostly game, meats, and some plants. As time progressed and civilizations evolved, communication and art changed. These changes happened gradually through the Mesolithic period with the domestication of the dog. As we reached the Neolithic period, much advancement took place. Most importantly was a shift from the hunter-gatherer nomadic lifestyle to the domesticated sedimentary lifestyle. The Neolithic period is known for development of baked clay and the domestication of plants and animals, which allowed for the building of settlements and the establishment of simple towns and other urban environments. Ain Ghazal is a clear example of this. Occupied from about 7200 to 5000 BCE, this site contained houses that were irregularly shaped but were carefully plastered and painted. A more astonishing example of the social and economic changes that took place can be found in Anatolia. At Catalhoyuk, archaeologists discovered 12 successive building levels, with the houses adjoining on one another and lacking doors. Inhabitants entered through openings in their roofs. The advantage of this housing plan was that it proved to be much sturdier than singular houses. It provided a wall around the town and was likely to keep out invading nomads. It has been confirmed that this town was involved in trade and therefore can be seen as one of the beginnings of an established society. Explain how these changes affected art and architecture. Explain why Neolithic art is said to represent human themes and concerns. The lifestyle shift from hunter-gatherer to sedimentary village dweller allowed for art and architecture to change in such a way that artists were able to focus on these subjects and use more sophisticated techniques. While the Paleolithic period involved a nomadic lifestyle focused on hunting animals, the Neolithic period transformed these lifestyles into ones including communities and domestication. Moreover, the architecture in the Old Stone Age consisted mostly of caves and simple huts. The transition to an urban environment created the need for sturdy, stable living quarters. Architects were required to adapt to the new problems that were created during urbanization. Building design had to account for intruders and security. Perhaps this drastic change was a catalyst for new works of art. In the Paleolithic, the constantly moving peoples were limited to what they could bring with them. The stationary lifestyle of the Neolithic allowed for larger pieces of art to be created. Monumental sculptures eventually led to the creation of Stonehenge, one of today's many modern marvels. The settlements discovered at Katahoyuk revealed a large number of decorated rooms within the homes, which they refer to as shrines. These rooms included wall paintings, animal heads, and plaster reliefs. While it has been said that prehistoric art was not created for the same reasons that art is created today, the richness of their decoration suggests that people were interested in adorning their homes with various works of art. Keeping with the idea that these artworks were of significance and importance in one way or another, the shrines may have contributed to the variation in subjects. As evidenced in Neolithic art, the human figure is one of regular appearance. Humans were not only depicted as singular subjects, they were also portrayed in groups, with a wide variety of subjects and settings. Furthermore, humans seem to be more carefully painted with much detail. Our text states in Neolithic paintings, human themes and concerns and action scenes with humans dominating animals are central. This could be attributed to the new sense of community that people were experiencing, which perhaps offered them the opportunity to appreciate those around them. With the establishment of settlements, people depended on one another more than ever before, and a sense of trust was probably necessary in order for them to thrive. It seems that this new lifestyle would definitely allow for appreciation and therefore artworks of others. Along with this, the advancement of materials and techniques used for art provided people with the ability to more accurately portray who and what was in their lives. With simpler tools and new ways to create art, it seems probable that people were more inclined to create more detailed works and explore new subjects. How did the need to survive affect the production of prehistoric art? Prehistoric art acted as a means of communication. From generation to generation, wall murals expressed the importance of hunting, food, and human reproduction. There were no writing systems to record messages or ideas. The art of the Paleolithic through the Neolithic may have been used as a learning aid to teach one another how to survive. Artists represented animals with all of the visual information necessary to identify them in the wild. This may have been used to portray which animals to hunt and where to hunt them. The representation of humans may indicate the ideal human to procreate with. Art during the early advancement was essential for storytelling, communicating, and surviving. With the establishment of homes as seen in the shrines at Katahoyuk, the artworks of this time were highly regarded and placed in their own room. Many theories suggest that people believed that drawing or sculpting animals would ensure the animals' survival, which would give them a constant food source. As previously stated, others suggest that artwork was a method of teaching. Both of these theories are supported by the discovery of the shrine rooms, as they could have either been a place for ritual or a place for learning. Discuss possible functions of each of the imagery. While we cannot be sure of the exact functions of these sculptures, there are a few possibilities. It seems that the woman of Willendorf is a representation of a fertility figure. Judging by her large hips and the detailed sculpting of her vagina, it would be reasonable to assume this. As well, because women for so long were not regarded as having importance in society. Other than their ability to reproduce, it does not seem likely that such a sculpture would be made for any other reason. Furthermore, one could hypothesize that the absence of facial features indicates that she represents all women. In addition, the sculpture could act as a learning tool. The exact use of all of these articles is shrouded in mystery, as these ancient cultures did not have the ability to write and record. As stated in the book, the Ain Ghazal figure was found in a cache in Jordan. This, as well as the fact that multiple figures were discovered, suggests that perhaps the figure was associated with burial rituals. Possibly the fact that these figures do not have mouths could be a symbol of the inability to speak in death. Describe the difference in depictions of the human form. How do they differ in appearance? As previously stated, the depictions of the human form are quite different. The woman of Willendorf is a round, robust figure. Her gender is clearly depicted by the presence of large, full breasts and a defined vagina. Her facial features are absent, presumably covered by a hat of some sort. On the other hand, Ain Ghazal is a long, slender figure. Its gender is unknown, though its eyes and nose have been carefully painted on. More specifically, the woman has a large round head with no neck, but slender shoulders that give way to large sagging breasts and a full stomach with a big belly button. Her thighs are large, and the detail in her knees is very similar to that of an overweight person today. In contrast, Ain Ghazal has a head that appears to be square-shaped and includes indication of ears. Its neck is very long and prominent while its shoulders are very broad. It appears to be extremely flat and has a slightly noticeable hourglass figure, quite the opposite of the woman of Willendorf. As well, there is no distinction within the legs, rather they are sculpted as straight stumps.